What's up, guys? I'm Joe. Today I'm talking about the new Five Finger Death Punch album and Justice for None. So, Five Finger Death Punch are back. This is their seventh studio album, titled And Justice for None, a play off of, obviously Metallica's And Justice for All, a title which made me cringe as soon as I heard it, and I actually saw an article, a little bit before getting ready to film this, where Ivan Moody, the lead singer, was like, oh, we called it this to mess with the online trolls. Well, great. I don't believe that for a second. I think they definitely thought it was a really cool title. But anyway, I was curious to see what the album had to offer. Five Finger Death Punch is a band that, gets a lot of hate overall. Either you're part of their pretty diehard fan base, which I think is pretty cool, for a band to have, or otherwise they're just not really a cup of tea. For me personally, I'd still say I'm a fan of those first two records. The Way of the Fist and War is the Answer, I think, offered some pretty fun, pretty heavy, thrashy type music. I thought Ivan's scream was always pretty cool. He had like a nice commanding voice. And yeah, while the lyrics were nothing special, I just thought it was a fun band. I really enjoyed them back in the day. I definitely started to feel like they were declining with American Capitalist. From that point forward, I only felt like there was a few songs on each album I really liked, mostly because it seemed like they were just trying to hone in and reproduce what worked so well with the first two albums, especially War is the Answer, which saw a big hit with Hard to See. I mean, that was on rock radio all the time. So basically, from American Capitalist forward, it felt like they were just trying to capture that same success, whether it was just like chugging, kind of mid-tempo heavy songs, or otherwise some melodramatic and kind of punchy power ballads. Not to say that there wasn't some fun along the way. Look at a song like Lift Me Up off of Wrong Side of Heaven. Features Rob Halford, which is one of my favorite vocalists, so I really love that song. But I think this all really came to a head at Got Your Six, which was definitely their worst offering so far. My problem with that album is just you would go from these really heavy verses and riffs into just the most clean, radio-friendly sounding choruses. It was always just such a jarring change. It just showed them at their worst, trying to capture both the heaviness and the radio side of it, just really forcing it way too hard. Despite really disliking Got Your Six, I was interested to see where they would go with this record, because I feel like it has all the makings of a possibly good album, more of a return to form of the first few. Bands had so much drama in the news and all those online Loudwire, Blabbermouth type sites. For the past few years, there's always something about Ivan having a meltdown on stage, or, the band's doing this, the band's doing that, the band's gonna break up, no they're not, they're in a lawsuit, all this kind of stuff. So this could have been a sort of aggressive return to form of those first two records, and of course you would expect a couple ballads as always. But unfortunately, I feel like they phone it in just as much as the last record on this one. So I would say this is a bit of a step up, a little more enjoyable than Got Your Six. They're not really trying to cram the heavy and the catchy together in such a jarring way on this one. But what you end up is on one side, like the typical chugging along songs such as Under and Over It that we've heard a bunch of times from them. And then on the other side, just these melodramatic ballads that on this album, none of them really stand out. You don't have a Bleeding or a Hard to See on here, or even Wrong Side of Heaven, the title track from the double album, which I thought was pretty good. Ballads on this one, they really blend together. Nothing really stands out for me as far as those songs go, except for maybe I Refuse, and it's not even for a good reason. I think the chorus on that is just so poppy. It just sounds so weird coming from the gritty vocals of Ivan Moody. There are two covers on this album of two songs that I really love, and they just don't pull them off. And I've liked the Five Finger covers in the past. Bad Company, obviously a great one. Even House of the Rising Sun was okay. Man, these two just suck the energy out of the original songs, especially Gone Away. The Offspring's Gone Away is just the most explosive chorus. I love it. It's one of my favorite songs by the band, and they take it and they strip it down to this very kind of slow, somber ballad, which just doesn't quite work, and it's not what I would have expected. If there was any song they were going to cover more straight up, I think this would be a good one, and it probably would have sounded good with them doing it. Really let Ivan go with the vocals in the choruses, but it's just so boring. Blue on Black, I guess there's not technically anything wrong with it, the Kenny Wayne Shepherd covered, but I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't have any energy to it. I feel like I was more into even Brent Smith's cover, the acoustic cover he did from Shinedown. That acoustic version somehow has way more energy and feel to it than this full band version of the song. So that's definitely a letdown as well. Unfortunately, the sequencing of the album hurts it as well. I mentioned the ballads kind of blend together. But really, there's a point in this album where there's a lot of just it's like a ballad and then chugging along song ballad, same thing. And that kind of back and forth, I don't like when albums do that. There's a few I can think of, totally random one, but the last album from Aerosmith, the Music from Another Dimension album, which I thought was a letdown, did that same thing where it'd be like a rock song and a ballad, a rock song and a ballad, a rock song and a ballad, and that just gets old pretty fast. I don't know, a change of sequence could have helped some stuff out here, but even the heavier songs, I tend not to really like too much. I was listening to the deluxe version of the album, which is on Apple Music. Honestly, I think some of the bonus songs are some of the better music on here. You had trouble opening up the deluxe version, which I know was also on the greatest hits. But that's just a pretty solid straight ahead Five Finger song. Same with Bad Seed and Save Your Breath, which close out the deluxe version. They just have a lot more energy than some of these other songs do. Kind of like Ivan's vocals on Save Your Breath, a little bit more melodic than a lot of the other grittier, lower register stuff going on the album overall. And just a nice, heavy guitar lead, very groovy in nature. Some cool stuff going on with that track. I talked about Fake in a track roundup video right around the time it came out. Not a song that's really grown on me. As I said in that review, it just feels like songs we've heard from them before mashed together. The chorus, the fake motherfucker. They did Burn Motherfucker on Wrong Side of Heaven, pretty much the same thing. And something I noticed with that song at first, I was hoping wouldn't carry on to the record, but I think it does. Even the production is not up to the usual quality the band has. I mean, say what you will about, some of their recent records. I feel like the quality was always great. These big, heavy drums, the bass drums are so explosive and tight. And here the drums sound a little weak. The mix sounds a little rough and messy. So even that plays against the album. Top of the World suffers from that Got Your Six problem for me, where, I'm pretty into the verse. I think it's heavy, it's kind of usual Five Finger, the chugging along riffs. But then the chorus comes, and while it's somewhat catchy, it just doesn't feel like it fits quite right with the rest of the song. I don't know what that is about their recent stuff that they have this tendency. I think like they want to go for that hook and they're trying so hard for it that the choruses end up really just standing out and not feeling like they fit in with the song. And Champagne, which I feel like a lot of the fans seem to like this one, but this song just feels a little corny to me, especially with the rappy kind of vocal delivery, and throw on top the lyrics, say, you don't know me, I know me, whatever. But kudos for the dad joke, Champagne, always one for a good play on words. It's not all terrible. Like I said, it is a bit of a step up from Got Your Six. I like the bonus tracks probably the most. Fire in the Hole is a really cool song. It has more of that original aggression. It's like slightly different in its delivery. The band tries to change it up just slightly on a few songs, and it does work. I feel like they need a change. They need to stop trying so hard to do the same thing over and over. And Fire in a Hole is just a nice, aggressive, energetic hit in the middle of the album here. The weird kind of chanty pre-chorus is great. It just, gets you pumped up. The chorus is catchy, but not in an overly attempting to be a pop song way. And there's some nice, rhythmic, awesome, heavy moments leading out of it. Easily my favorite on the album, Fire in the Hole. And Bloody, my other huge favorite. Really, this is one of the most different songs the band has probably ever done. It's got this weird atmospheric guitar in the background. Just a nice slow driving straight ahead groove in the drums. I like Ivan's performance on here. It's a little different, a little more melodic. Some pretty cool guitar interludes going on in the middle of the song there. Definitely a huge standout amongst the rest of the album. It's a shame we couldn't get more stuff like Fire in the Hole or Bloody. Rock Bottom, pretty okay song too. Just kind of more straight ahead, a little bit more punky, which I think is cool. They haven't really done a kind of more upbeat song since the first album, it seems like. They definitely had some thrashier, punkier, faster ones originally. I like that this one kind of gets back to that a bit. But yeah, for me overall, it's like there's an EP's worth of good music on this one. I'm definitely not one that likes to root against the band. Like I said, I still really like those first two albums, but really not feeling this one, really feeling like they're phoning it in, really just trying to recreate the same thing over and over. And when they try to do things a little bit different, it's kind of interesting. So, I would like to see them, after this album, maybe just try something a little different, try something fresh. I don't think they're a terrible band. I know a lot of people do, but they have some good songs even throughout the discography, even throughout the albums I don't really love. There's always a few that are pretty solid, and I feel like if they could veer more into that direction where they're not trying to force the poppy hooks because Hard to See was a hit, I feel like that's what they're always trying to get back to. So yeah, I'm feeling probably a 2 out of 5 for this album. Definitely a step up from Got Your Six, but nothing that's really blowing my mind on here except for maybe a couple songs. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments, whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.